Okay, hello everyone, this is another edition of Jam Enslaver Plays. I know it was very popular the last time I did something like this, so I figured I'd do it again. What am I playing? Well, as you can probably see, I've not got my funny face up on the screen, so it's not a scary game. And it's made by Cyan. So what could that mean? Ah, yes. I'm playing Myst. Or rather, I'm playing Real Myst. If you don't know, this is a 3D version of Myst. I'll kind of get into more about what Real Myst is and what Myst was a little bit later, but first let's watch this interesting opening cutscene, shall we?
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse.
That fissure reminds me of that thing where you have two faces, but it's also a candlestick.
Where it might have landed, but I must admit that such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
Bum bum bum. Okay, so yeah, this is Myst. This is Real Myst. So the story is that guy wrote a book, I think. You see, I've played Myst before, the original version. I got it ages and ages ago, but I never got all that far into it. Not far enough to really get any of the story. So most of this, whilst we're going along, is going to be a mystery to me as much as it is for you. But yeah, so the story behind this is you are some character. I think you're called the Stranger, or referred to as the Stranger. I don't know if you're ever actually referred to by name, but the manual calls you the Stranger. And anyway, you find this book called Myst. And as you read it, you discover that the world changes around you, and once you finish the book, you realize that you are drawn into its pages, and you wind up on a weird island called Myst, which is hopefully where we will end up now. If it doesn't do that, then okay. That would have been very strange if we'd ended up somewhere else. But yeah, this is the island of Myst. It's very nice looking. It's also really much better looking than it used to. The original Myst game, I'll just wander around the island here and flip these switches whilst I'm talking. They're important a little bit later, I'll show you them. So yeah, Myst was like this weird epoch for PC gaming where it suddenly turned out that old-fashioned floppy disk technology wasn't good enough, because Myst was basically like a series of still computer-rendered images, which doesn't sound like much today, but back in the day it had a huge amount of data involved with it, like as well as the images themselves. It had sound effects and voice acting and little bits of video and stuff like that. There's a piece of paper on the floor. I will come back to that. So yeah, it was basically it was like the game that you needed to buy a CD-ROM drive in order to use. But at the same time, these days it doesn't really hold up very well, because just look at all this. Look at all this stuff. Can you imagine this like rendered in 3D? And considering that back in the day we had basically like 16-bit graphics, maybe slightly better, but obviously nothing like this in 3D existed back at the time. But yeah, Myst was like a game that you had to upgrade your PC for, but it doesn't really hold up very well these days, because, as I said, it's like a series of static images, and to wander around the environment, you basically clicked on it, and if there was an arrow where your cursor was, you went to that. You transitioned. It did like a dissolve or something like that. And you moved on to the next bit. And so you had stuff that you could interact with and all those sorts of things. And basically the idea of the game is to solve puzzles. Now, I've been flipping these switches, and I've also been wandering around, so you got a nice little look at the island. The reason that I did that, you might be able to tell that I have played this game. I said I've played Myst before. I have also played this actual version of Myst. I played Real Myst about a month or so ago when I bought it. And yeah, I've done like a few of the puzzles, so I can remember stuff, which obviously means I'm not going to be wandering around so much, but also means I'm not going to be figuring it out. So anyway, so yeah, so here's a piece of paper. It says, "Catherine, I have left for you a message of utmost importance in our forechamber beside the dock. Enter the number of marker switches, which are the things I was flicking, on this island into the image to retrieve your message. Yours, Athos, or Atris. Atris. I always thought his name was Athos. Oh well. Atris. Alright, so click off that. See, now I can go and I can fall down there See, before in the old Myst, would have had to come all the way around there because obviously it was not 3D. So yeah, so we have to go in here first of all. Again, I apologise if I'm not... couldn't get through there. Apologise if I'm not playing this very organically at first. I haven't played all of it, and it has been a little bit of time, so I'm not going to be getting all the puzzles straight away, but yeah, maybe it'll... So yeah, this is basically what you're doing with Myst. For most of the game is you're finding weird machines, and you're pushing buttons, and you're basically trying to figure out what it's doing, what exactly is happening. So yeah, so we've got... Yeah, here it is. There's a little piece of paper on the wall. So we click on that, it says... Topographical extrusion test is 40, marker switch diagram 47, water turbulent pool 67. I think that's what we're on now. So like I can show you a marker switch diagram, which is number 47, makes a buzzing noise. I back away from that, and I push the button. And see, if you didn't know what the marker switches were, you do now. So yeah, that's useful. I'm not actually. Yeah, why not? I'll show you the topographical extrusion test because. Hell, why not? It's in the game. It's an interesting thing. You see, now these bits, like the bits in the this holo reader thing, were the bits in the original game that were full video, which is really cool because back in the day you were like, ooh, look, it's a spinny mountain that's actually moving. But anyway, we're wasting time. The number of marker switches is what we have to put in, so let's do that. There are in fact 8. Oops, not 98. 8. We'll walk back over here. Push the button. See what we get.
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine is one of our sons. I suspect Agonal, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Cirrus as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long. Well, I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return, but if you've forgotten the access keys, remember the tower rotation. Oh, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, and erase this message after you've viewed it, just to be safe.
She never erased the message. So where is Catherine? So yeah, the central characters in this game are this guy, who is apparently called Atris, or Atris. I call him Atris. His wife Catherine, and their 2 sons called Cirrus and Agonar, I believe. There's also this little button here. What does that do? It does not do anything. Oh well. Yeah, so those are the 4 characters, and I'll show you the library next, because that's basically where we have to go. Ooh. It's coming to sunset, that's nice. You see, that's obviously something that didn't happen before, because it was just static images that didn't change. So yeah, so as I said, this is the central land of Myst. And this is where, this sort of acts as like a hub world, and I'm kind of skipping ahead like a little bit in terms of the things you have to work out, but basically you have to journey to 4 different worlds and do stuff in those worlds, but I'll show you why you have to do that stuff later. So yeah, this is the library. As you can see, yep, as he said, most of the books have been destroyed. I won't read through all of these. These are the like books which provide backstory. They basically describe different worlds that you can go to. It basically like sets up a bit of backstory. Oh yeah, this is the one with the... This is the one set in Channelwood, I think is what the place is called, and like the natives there give you coloured inks. It's kind of cool. So you see, and they like give you backstory as well as also giving you clues. So at some point I'm probably going to have to come back and look for some clues in these, but I'll just flick through them idly because the other thing it does is like set up the family dynamic of Atris is usually the guy who goes, see, these are all very interesting clues here. I'll take down those at some point later on. Yeah, Atris is like this guy who explores all these weird different worlds that he accesses through his books, and at some point in the future, or at some point like along in his story, he allows Cirrus and Agonar, his 2 sons, to come along with him. And Catherine never seems to go along, or maybe she like lives in one of them. I'm not sure. I think most of the time she stays in Myst or on Myst or whatever. So yeah, so though actually there's no point in me doing that. Ooh, actually, what was that? I saw something there. Something I recognized. Yeah, do we recognize this? Interesting. It like flips back. Oh wait, yeah, I remember that. Okay, well let's do... Seeing as I've kind of half solved a puzzle there already, let's go back and do this. It's getting really dark now actually, I'd never noticed that before. That's interesting. I remember how to do this bit. Yeah. So... so we go back down here. So yeah, quite a lot of the game is to do with, like, finding weird random clues. What have we got that on? Oh, it's him again. No. There, okay, good. Switch him on. So yeah, so I think... Put this on. There we go, so put on the topographical extrusion test, and then... You come round... No, I need to turn it on. I haven't broken it, have I? That would be really bad. There we go. Okay, I must have just turned it off. Yeah. And then push this button, and something happens. That's basically the majority of what this game is. You push buttons and try and figure out what happens. So hopefully that won't be too tedious to watch whilst I work all this stuff out. Ooh, pretty. Okay. So just to give you some context of that, this is something I remember from the first time. What that did was, do you recognize that layout? It's these things. And what I did was, I rotated this tower so you can get down here. The controls are kind of weird for this game as well. I do not remember... Oh yeah, this... Yeah... So like... And now I have to find the code and punch it in here, but I'm not going to do that yet because I didn't take down the numbers. So yeah, anyway, we're going to go back this way. And I'm going to take you... Or I'm going to go to the library. Which basically sets up the thing instantly. Let's go in here. It's like a dentist chair. But it's not. So you can see it's kind of related to the stars. I can like hit this button. You can see it just loads up there. So yeah, I'm kind of just messing around for the moment, but yeah, let's actually do some... Ooh. Oh, that's nice. Alright. Okay, so yeah, this... Huh. Okay. So see, I picked up a blue page there, and I can put it into this book.
Monsieur? Are you? See you. Nah. Help me. Ring. Blue pages.
Yeah. So this is Agonar.
Never.
One of the two brothers. This guy really freaks me out. Like, I do not trust him.
I must have the blue page.
Yeah. So he wants me to collect blue pages for him because he's like in a blue book. And again, this is basically as far in the story as I've ever gotten. Is that he wants blue pages. So let's close that book. And on the other side, we've got the red book, which... Oh yeah, I have to put a page into it first, don't I? There we go. There we are.
Why?
And this is Cirrus.
Bring me a red page.
Yeah. So, this is always the thing that struck me about it, is that
I can't see.
it seems like you have to choose between these two brothers, because usually when you go to a world you have like a blue page and a red page which you can find in it, and you can bring one of them back but not both of them, and so you basically have to choose between these two people. It seems pretty obvious that whoever you choose, they're going to betray you somehow, because on the one hand you have Agonar, who seems to be a raving lunatic. On the other hand, but on this hand you have Cirrus, who is obviously some kind of evil genius who is going to betray you the first chance he gets. So that's unfortunate. Even so, I usually tend to trust this guy rather than the crazy man, because I don't know, I feel like I could live with the consequences of letting him out of the book more than letting that gibbering idiot out. So yeah, we got some interesting stuff in here. Got like a fireplace you can climb into. Push the button. I have no idea what this is. Literally no idea what that is. And it's not like I can look around in this room either. The controls of this game are a little bit weird. I'm actually using just the mouse to walk around. You basically walk forwards using the left click and backwards using the right click. You can, if you want, use W and S to walk forwards, but that just like gets you into the mood of thinking that you can sidestep, and you can't. Say A and D do nothing. Not that that's really important. It's not like there's anything you need to dodge in this place. So yeah, this is the other bit that I remember from back in my days of playing the game, is the tower rotation. Okay, so yeah, you basically just hold this down and you can rotate it, and it points the tower at different stuff. I'm going to point it at that building there, because that is one of the things that I didn't do when I played this most recently. There we go. Which means that I'll actually be playing the game rather than just replaying it, if you like. Okay. Oh, go in. Sometimes these controls are not very useful. I have to close the door, push the button. And up we go. And then we have to rotate, because we rotated the tower. And here we are, up in the observatory, or the tower thing. So we got this ladder. This shows you what you're looking at, which at the moment doesn't really tell me a lot, because it's actually not... Yeah, you see, it's kind of pointing towards the observatory, but not really. But that doesn't really matter. That's not so important. Let's go over here. See, that's the book you're looking at, and this is the key. So the key, and this is the other part about Myst, is that you really have to write down stuff that you find, because some of it can be very, very confusing. So I'm going to write this down. So it's October 11th, 1984 at 10:04 a.m. And you got January the 17th, 12:07 at 5:46 a.m. And lastly, November 23rd, the day before my brother's birthday. November 23rd, 9,791, so quite a long way in the future, and that's at 6:57 p.m. Okay, so yeah, I apologise if this is boring to watch whilst I take down notes, but unfortunately it's kind of necessary. Myst actually came with a pretty large note section in the back of its manual, specifically for this purpose of writing stuff down. In fact, I think it might have even come with like a piece of paper or something, which I promptly lost. Anyway. So yeah, basically once you figure out the secret of the tower, which as I said I'm kind of skipping over that bit because I can't unlearn that, plus it'll be really annoying for me to wander around this island for ages not knowing what to do. Once you figure out that this tower is basically used to give you clues in order to access these 4 different locations on the map, you've basically like got the idea of how this game works. We have to get outside, there we go. That closes up, yep. So yeah, it'll give you a thing to type in, usually. So here we go. Just close the door. Oh, or maybe it just closes on its own. Oh, well, we need to turn the lights off. That's right. And step into this thing. Okay, so so we want October the 11th. 1984. Oop, wrong one. Wow, this thing moves really... Okay, okay. That's a really annoying noise. 1984 at 10:04 AM. And it comes up with... Ah, okay. So I'm going to draw that. So bear with me here whilst I draw it. So it's got like 3 big dots. And I can remember I actually had like an old notepad where I filled all this stuff out on, because there is a lot of stuff you have to remember. So it's like 3 big dots in a triangle, and then 2 less big dots down to the side, and then 2 other little dots in like a pointy bit. Okay. Now let's do the next one. So January the 17th, 12:07. Ah, Jesus. That's really painful because I've got this kind of loud in my ears. I need to turn that down the next time I play this game. And 5:46 AM. 5:46. Make it so. Huh, okay. So let's draw that down. So I'll just make a note of that one. It's the October one from before. Maybe I should have like a notepad camera so that you can see me doing this stuff. Let me know what you think. I'm not going to make this initial episode too long because that will get a little bit tedious. Anyway, let's draw this next one. So it's like that, and there's like a dot there and there, and 2 in the corners. I think that's all of them. Okay, so that one's the January one. And lastly, November the 23rd, 9791. At 6:57 PM. Do it. Holy, oh god! Now I have to write. I have to draw that. Okay, so it's like 3 big dots in like a zigzag, and 1 down at the bottom. And then there are like 3 little ones across the top. And then there's another little one next to that big one. Then down there. And 1 over there. Okay, and that one is the November one. Okay, so that's all. So that's the information. And whilst I was doing that, I remember what I have to do here. So that's neat. Yeah, the door didn't shut. Anyway, let's turn the light off before I leave. And now I have to go back here and find, now which book was it? Was it this book? Yes, it was. Okay, so let's see the ones that I want. Ah, okay. So that looks very much like the one from the. That looks like the January one. Okay, so that is the snake. That's a snake. Ooh, that one looks like the November one, so that's a beetle. Again, I'm writing these down. Apologies for that. No. Ah, that's like a leaf, almost like a maple leaf from the October one. I'll just write leaf. I don't think it really matters what it is. Okay. So yeah, that's that. And now we've got these things up here. Yes. So we want the snake. That's a funny noise. Is that that's the beetle, isn't it? It's anchor. Don't want that. Don't want the arrow. I want the leaf. Ooh. That's pretty awesome. I don't. You see, now in the past, on the old version of Myst, that would not have happened because obviously, as it would be a static image, you wouldn't have seen that ship rising off in the distance. That's actually kind of clever. It almost like maybe it did do that in the old version, but who cares? Let's see what's in here. Aha! A book with a thing on it. And you know what? We're going to leave it there. I'm going to save the game. Well, I'm going to quit the game. We're going to leave it there. And next time we will see where the game takes us.